Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. Like I had mentioned, we are past the part of the arrivals and the registration. Please register your attendance, make us know who you are in the chat section, and we will be glad to have you. But for now, I would like to welcome the chairperson of the Education, Research and Training Committee for ULIA. And this is an individual that is very well known to very many of us, whether in person or virtually. Dr. Baziraki, are you here? Are you with us?
Let's give Doctor 5 minutes to get on. I've just
All
got
right.
in touch with him. Just 5 minutes.
All right, then in the meantime, maybe you could also give us some information about the ULIA Education Committee, Mr. Secretary Sam. Hello, Mr. Secretary, are you there? All right, perhaps we will have, in the interest of time, we will have to postpone that address and we can tell you more about our mandate later. But when ULIA...
The person has taken his seat.
All right, thank you very much. Dr. Baziraki, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and you're very, very welcome, Mr. Chairman, sir. This
Thank
is our
you.
day
I'm
as
welcome.
the...
Any problems here? We have no power. Where I was, there's no power, so I have migrated.
all in the name of appearances, but this is our time as the Education Committee to show our relevance to the committee, to the community, sir. So I would like to welcome you to give some opening remarks as we prepare to disseminate the results of the training needs assessment survey that was carried out earlier. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Bernard Baziraki.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Those who are listening. I'm Bernard Baziraki, the current chairman of the Education Committee. And I'm glad I wish to take this opportunity to welcome you all to this meeting where we have dissemination of the survey results of are being disseminated. Now, as you know, as I always said, ULIA should make itself relevant because it is an important organization which brings us together, all of us, the professionals in library and information science. So it should really take lead in most of the things. But what we realized is that ULIA is being taken for granted in most cases. And I'm glad we put capable people in place. I'm sure we should see some good work being done. As we can see now, this survey, I think it is the first of its kind for ULIA. And I'm sure it will take such kind of work will take us to somewhere. Now, I saw the plan. The plan is we are soon operationalizing the plan or implementing what is in the plan. But according to what I saw, we might be hampered by finances. I didn't see some of the, I saw some of the activities are not budgeted for, and I don't know what we really think after planning and then we find we can't move. I hope we shall have an opportunity to meet or to talk about this so that we can make these things work really. Otherwise, it will be useless to plan. And even these findings from the survey, if we don't implement them, then we shall have not made a difference from what has been happening in ULIA all along. So I welcome the members, and let us listen to the results of the survey, and then we see what we can add on, or we can prioritize, and then get working. With those words, I wish to. Do I have to open the meeting, or it is already open? I wish
The
to open
meeting
the
is
meeting
already open,
and
but
we
you
get the
can open
presentation.
again.
Yeah?
It's already open, but you can reopen.
Okay, it's okay. So let us go to the business. Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much, Dr. Baziraki. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the chairperson of ULIA's Education, Research and Training Committee. And as you may have listened to, he pointed out to some of the mandates that the committee has. And I'll keep mentioning it. One of the responsibilities that we have been tasked with as a 14-man committee is to identify opportunities for continuous professional development, identify learning gaps, and also develop responses and action plans to this. But it is not possible for us to plan for the community that we serve without knowing the current state of the community. And this state is manifested in so many ways. It could be in the kind of things that we do, the kind of activities that we engage in that might be seemingly lacking, but there are so many opportunities for us. So to be able to talk about our current state in terms of the needs that we have identified for training, the committee came up with a training needs assessment survey, and this was carried out between February and March of this year. And I would like to invite Sarah Nakaziba to be able to share more about this, why the need for this, when was it conducted, what were the results, what's the analysis, what's the impact, and what is the way forward. And before Sarah can speak, perhaps many of us know her, but others may not know her. So in case you do not know Sarah, Sarah Nakaziba is a member of the ULIA Education, Research and Training Committee, and she currently works with the Aga Khan University and is the head librarian at the Faculty of Health Sciences Library on the Uganda campus. Sarah has a bachelor's degree in library and information science from Makerere University, and she obtained a master's degree in information studies from the Uganda Christian University in Mukono. So Sarah, I would like to hand over the virtual mic to you whenever you are ready. Thank you very much. Sarah, are you there?
Yes, Alice. Thank you so much, Alice.
You're welcome.
I'm
Take
trying to
over.
share my screen. Thank you.
Yes, we can see it.
You can see it.
Yep.
But there is noise, I think, in someone's background.
Yes, let me identify that and mute them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alice, for this opportunity. Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Sarah Nakaziba, like I've been introduced. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank you so much, so much for taking off time to be with us today in this dissemination workshop. But I would also like to thank you so much for taking off time to participate in the survey. We are grateful So this report was compiled by the ULIA Education and Training and Research Committee, and I'm going to flash the members a little bit. As you've been told, the chairperson is Dr. Bernard Baziraki, and the secretary is Mr. Bosco Bruga. The lady in charge of CPD is Miss Agnes Namaganda, and then the rest of the members are there. Okay, so in this presentation, I'm going to give the introduction. I'll also share the methods that we used in the study. Then I'll share the survey results. And at the end, I'll also share the committee recommendations, of course, depending on the results that came out of the survey. The advancement in ICT and information explosion has necessitated the need for the LIS professionals to develop their knowledge to perform effectively and efficiently. You know, with all the so many advancements in ICT, and of course, not forgetting the explosion of the internet, you find that these days our users' demands are always changing, they're always evolving. Today they want this, the next day they want the other. And sometimes what is amazing is that they even get to know about these things even before we do, and yet they expect us to know. So you are there, maybe a researcher can come to your desk and request that, can you kindly help me maybe with my citations and referencing? Of course, they want you to help them maybe use a given maybe referencing manager, maybe Mendeley or Zotero or EndNote, and you totally have no idea of how it works. And then next time they come, maybe they want you to help them maybe sign up for a Google Scholar account and you've never heard of it. Then they come back the next time with another request and you're still not able to help them. Of course, that will render you useless to this, to this user. So for us to be able to remain relevant wherever we are, we have to upskill, we have to reskill, we have to find ways of, enhancing our knowledge and skills. And the only way we can be able to do that is by participating in CPDs or continuing professional development programs. And CPD has been defined as a tool for updating and expanding the skills and knowledge of the LIS professionals. There are various types of CPDs. There are those ones which are formal, which we are more familiarized with, like the conferences, the workshops, the seminars, but there are also others which are a bit informal, like mentorship. Maybe like if there's something that you need to know, you go to your supervisor or your boss or your colleague, and like they explain something to you, or they explain how the process of doing something. It could also be coaching. Maybe you could engage in writing a research paper, maybe networking, you identify colleagues from another university or from another registry to guide you in a given thing which you believe that you need, help with. That is all CPD. Let me first remove this. Okay. Now the committee decided to give up. I don't know how to remove this thing from my screen.
What thing?
This thing for Zoom.
The ribbon.
Yeah, the ribbon.
Is it
I'm trying to
distracting
drag
you?
it to, yes, I'm trying to drag it to hide it a bit. Okay.
Normally I drag it, but have no fear. We are not able to see it.
All right. So the committee decided to do a little survey on CPD for LIS in Uganda, and the literature searches yielded 2 studies, one from Namaganda 2019, where she started CPD in public university libraries, and then there is another by Lutaya in 2015. She also looked at CPD for the private chartered universities in Uganda. These are very good studies. If you get time, you could maybe search them on Google Scholar and read and see their findings, and all that, and the recommendations. From both studies, they all concluded that CPDs in LIS were irregular. Their participants indicated that they had most of of them had not attended CPDs, for a given period of time. And of course, they gave their reasons to include lack of funds, lack of time. Alice, this thing is really disturbing me. I don't know.
Are you able to drag it by the ribbon?
I've tried. Okay, that's much better. So the respondents in both studies, they cited lack of funds, lack of time, inadequate support from their management, absence of the library staff development policies as the hindrance for their participation in the CPD programs. However, Namaganda concluded that the reasons as to why the librarians were not participating in CPD, or they had indicated that were not participating in CPDs, is because of a knowledge gap. She said that they seem not to know the different types of CPDs that we have, that they seem to think that CPD is only the workshops, the seminars, and the trainings, yet it is much bigger than that. So because of that knowledge gap, and also because ULIA's one of the strategic objectives of ULIA, which is which is the CPD, to see how to develop the CPD programs for the LIS professionals. ULIA decided to carry out this needs assessment, the training needs assessment survey, so that they can be able to identify the needs for the LIS professionals and see how we can, plan and implement the CPD program for the LIS professionals in Uganda. The methodology used in this study, we did a descriptive survey design where we designed an online survey using Google Forms, and the link was shared via email and the different LIS WhatsApp platforms. And data was analyzed using the Google Analytics and MS Excel. And the results were displayed in graphs, tables. These are the percentages and the frequencies. So I'll give you a little about the demographics. The survey, there were 111 LIS professionals who filled the survey. And from these, 63 of them were male, the rest were female. When you look at the age group, the highest was between 31 to 40. Those were 55 LIS professionals, followed by 21 to 30 age group, and those were 32 LIS professionals. Still more on the demographics. Most of the respondents had a bachelor's degree. These were 57%, followed by those with masters at 32%. The list was PhD. We also looked at the professional experience of the LIS professionals, and it shows that the most of them were between 0 to 5 years, that is 33%, followed by the 6 to 10 years of working experience. Those were 31 LIS professionals. In the results indicated that the biggest number was coming from the public sector. Those were 68 LIS professionals, and then the rest were from the private sector. Also, more on the demographics, the biggest number was coming from universities, followed by government ministries, and the least were from the school libraries. When we asked them to indicate the areas of specializations, the biggest number of respondents were from the librarianship area of specialization, and then from records and archives were 32. The survey went on to ask the respondents to indicate if they had attended any CPD program in the last 3 years. And what is amazing is that 65% of the respondents had not attended. They indicated that they had not attended any PD program in the last 3 years, and only 35% had attended. So these ones who had not attended, the 65, were asked to indicate what were the reasons or the factors hindering them from participating in the CPD programs. And from my results, the results show that the highly ranked was lack of CPD opportunities at 65%. The LIS professionals indicated that they did not have, opportunities to attend. They didn't know about the opportunities, the CPD opportunities out there. This was followed by the cost of the training at 55%. And then the lack of management support at 28%. They also cited the location of the training as a hindrance at 18.3%. Personal circumstances was also another hindrance at 16%. Then the length of the training, and the least cited was lack of time. So for those professionals who had attended CPDs in the last 3 years, they were asked to indicate the type of training courses that they had attended. And the results show that the highly ranked was emerging digital trends at 77%. So most of these guys had attended trainings on the emerging digital trends. And this was followed by leadership. Some had attended research and publication, customer relations, stress management, marketing and one indicated copyright, and then one had done a PhD. So the survey went on to request the respondents to indicate the kind of skills that they would want to attain to help them in their, in their roles as they carry out their duties. And the respondents indicated that right now they need skills on emerging library digital trends for them to be able to effectively and efficiently carry out their duties. And then 22% indicated leadership skills, and followed by research skills. We have communication skills. Then we have preservation and conservation of record skills. This came from the records and archival professionals. And then we have we had cataloging and classification at 5%. We also have customer relations at 5%, instructional skills at 8%. The survey also went further to request the LIS professionals to indicate those cross-cutting issues which they believe the ULIA training CPD programs should emphasize on. So this is the gist of the survey. And the respondents overwhelmingly indicated research publication. The respondents want, the LIS professionals want ULIA to plan trainings in research publication. Under research publication, the LIS professionals indicated that they want trainings in how to write, in scholarly writing. They want to learn how to cite and reference using the various, referencing tools. They want they want to be taught how to create online profiles, how to do such strategies. They want to learn how to publish, how to write proposals. And lastly, they also indicated that they want to learn how to use the Turnitin and plagiarism software. The next training need that the LIS professional indicated after the research and publication was emerging technologies. This was at 66%. So 73 out of the 111 participants indicated that they want ULIA to plan trainings in the emerging technologies. And these technologies we divided them up into two. For the librarian professionals, they indicated that they want trainings in library-oriented automation. They want trainings in RDM, research data management, in digital library skills. They want trainings in digital marketing, bibliometrics. They want to attain skills in ICT. They also want ULIA to plan trainings in digitization and e-resources. And then for the records professionals, for them, they indicated that they want the trainings that they want in the emerging technologies are electronic records management. So after those two training needs, the next ranked was leadership skills. They also want to really think about the planning trainings to disseminate skills on leadership, on communication skills at 24%. They also want instructional skills at 14%. They want trainings on change management at 11%, customer relations, and then lastly, it was work-life balance at 8%. So lastly, the respondents were asked to share any information or recommendations that they think would help ULIA as they plan their training or their CPD programs. And what came out were these. The LIS professionals indicated that ULIA should plan regular CPD programs for them, which is very good. They also want ULIA to think about developing online content, I think, so that they can be able to, to study at the time of their convenience. They also want ULIA to think about getting funding for the CPD. And I'm glad that after my presentation, we have a presentation on sponsorship. Then they want ULIA to come up with a professional register so that they can register all the members. And they would also want ULIA to emphasize the sharing of resources. And lastly, they recommended that ULIA should organize trainings mostly based on technology. So they want technology-based CPD programs. Those were the recommendations from the LIS professionals. So the conclusion, it is evident from the findings that almost all information professionals are eager to get training on emerging technologies and research publication. A majority of the respondents believe that inadequate funding is the main challenge in participating in professional development program for the LIS professionals in Uganda. They also indicated limited training opportunities and insufficient management support, among others. So with that conclusion, the ULIA Education Training and Research Committee came up with a number of recommendations based on the findings. And number one, the committee recommends that ULIA trainings should prioritize research and research publication and emerging digital trends. And under research publications, emphasis should be put on scholarly writing, grant writing, citation and referencing tools, creating online profiles, searching strategies, how to publish, writing research proposals, and how to use the anti-plagiarism softwares. Then on the issue of emerging digital trends, the committee is recommending that ULIA should emphasize library automation since the respondents are more interested in COHA, and then research data management. They also emphasize that we should look at electronic records management, then digital library skills, digital marketing skills, bibliometrics, ICT skills, digitization, and then the e-resources. Furthermore, the committee recommends that ULIA should plan and organize regular continuing professional development programs for its members. We also recommend that ULIA should emphasize the need for CPD to the members, and the association should also sensitize members on the meaning of CPD. So ULIA should take it upon themselves to explain to the LIS professionals what CPD is all about, the different types of CPDs that are out there, because once the members get that or grasp the concept of CPD, we believe that it will be hard for someone to come out and say that I have not attended CPD in the last 3 years because of lack of opportunity. Because because most of us know that when you go to the internet, there is a lot of stuff, there's a lot of content. So if someone heard about something and you go maybe on YouTube, the information is there. And also the LIS professionals, people know their things. All you have to do is ask, can someone help me? I have a user who is asking about this. Can someone guide me on this so that I can be able to, to help my user? So we need to explain to the LIS professionals that CPD is not only seminars or workshops or conferences. It is much more than that. If you want to know about something, you can download an article and read about it. You can go to YouTube and watch a video, or you want to explore about a concept, write a paper, do a research about it and publish a paper. The committee also believes that LIS professionals should take charge of their learning by carrying out regular self-assessment. Even because we believe that even with the opportunities, even with the management support, if we have not taken it upon ourselves to see the need for learning, it will be hard for people to attend CPDs, because we all know that's why on the LIS WhatsApp groups, you see people posting, webinar links, conference links, training links. How many of us click and join and register for those links? So the committee believes that members should take it upon themselves to own their learning, because when you look at even the IFLA framework for CPD for the LIS professionals, they emphasize there are 3 stakeholders, and one of them is us, the professionals. We have to continuously appraise ourselves. So if a user came to you and requested you for something and you do not know how to do it, then you know that there is a gap. You have to find means of learning how to be able to do it, so that in case if that user came back or someone else came to you, you can be able to, to deliver. And also we can pursue opportunities to enhance our skills and knowledge. Next, the committee recommends that ULIA should disseminate information about the available CPD programs to the LIS professionals. And then lastly, the committee recommends that the LIS educators need to motivate students about the importance of being lifelong learners. This is, I think, when you look at the evidence shows that what we learned from the LIS schools becomes obsolete in 3 to 5 years. And I know that most of us can attest to it, that what we are doing right now, most of the things we just learned them on job, or we learned them along the way. These are things that we never learned from the LIS schools. So the educators, the LIS schools, they need to emphasize the need of being lifelong learners to the students, so that they know that then the essence of continuous learning, that they need to learn, to keep on learning, to be able to keep the pace with the changing technologies. And also the LIS schools should also provide postgraduate courses to the LIS professionals. So that marks the end of my presentation. Those are the references. Thank you for listening to me. Over to you, Alice.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you so much. Personally, this report could not be, these results could not be more detailed. I'm only disappointed in the numbers that actually got represented, because going by the number of members on the various LIS forums in Uganda, we seem to be a lot more than 111. So thank you very much. for undertaking this survey and for compiling the results and for also disseminating them and giving us your analysis in fulfillment of your mandate with the Education Committee. So ladies and gentlemen, there we have had it. And I would like to now invite any questions and answers. Sorry, any questions?
Alice,
Yeah.
before you invite questions,
Mm.
can't we appreciate the results? On my part, Alice, I want to thank Sarah and Agnes for what they did. Yes, please. And this is very interesting, actually. It is a very good publication, which I think they will carry on and publish it even in the journals. Maybe they can, as you have said, they can try to improve on the number of the respondents so that it makes more meaning on part of the respondents, so that they get a big views from a big number. But otherwise, this is a very good one. And as they are saying, lifelong learning is actually the way to go, because as you know, libraries and information science in general, as one of the Langnasan laws says, that a library is a growing organism. It can't grow and leave behind its people who are organizing it. So even people should keep growing, learning forever. So I thank them very much for having pointed out those issues. Now it is upon us to see how to, you have pointed out many learning areas, and you mentioned that there should be prioritization. Then I think we should, actually they helped us. I think some of them were prioritized. So we need to see how we can follow them up. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for those comments, Doctor. Once again, thank you very much, Agnes and Agnes Namaganda and Sarah Nakaziba, for this very detailed survey. And I would like to invite questions from the public. But before, I would also like to pose a question of my own to you, Sarah. We have this and we have this online. If I am a researcher, where can I access these results from? Will they be published, or are they going to be an internal something for ULIA?
Thank you so much, Alice, for the question. We agreed in one of the meetings for the ULIA Education Training and Research Committee that these findings will be published in a paper. Yes, so they will be disseminated. We shall publish a paper out of the findings.
All right. Do we have a timeline to this?
And I think they will appear on your university repositories, those who did the survey.
Okay, Doctor.
All right. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open for a few more minutes for any questions you might have. Everyone from the ULIA Education Committee is here, but you might also have observations, you might also have remarks, or things that were left unseen or unsaid that you might want to share. Let us see in the chat area. Sarah, I see there's a lot of thanks for you. All right, Geoffrey Timo, please unmute yourself and let us listen to what you have to share.
Thank you so much, presenters. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Agnes, for this revealing presentation. And the same thing, I would wish to thank the executive of ULIA for organizing this. is mind-opening. I think the number of ULIA that participants maybe are supposed to be more than this, because I can see only 49. Maybe if better mobilization was more than this, but so far so good. I'm grateful for the information. Thank you. Now, my point of concern is on the responses, and this is to the researchers, where many of the respondents in the library sector, they are saying they are more interested in emerging trends in library science, about to COHA and all that kind of thing, which is very good. And the issue of classification and cataloging, I can see they received very few responses, yet I think they are still backbone of all those classification, and they are still being applied, and without them, maybe even the electronic information may not be of a great help. So what your response number B to that question is, even in the record sector, their concern were about what electronic records management, but issues about retention schedules, issue because there are other issues, retention schedules and these records policies and all those kind of procedures manuals. They weren't put as a concern. So I would wish to ask the researchers, what is your view, or any other profession, what's your view on that? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that submission, Godfrey. Dr. Baziraki, you can unmute yourself and share. Dr. Baziraki, you can unmute.
Yes, mine is a suggestion. Maybe it can develop in a question. Okay, I've seen the areas of training we have highlighted, but I wanted to share with you that librarians who work in academic, even anywhere, they are academic staff, and the core activities of the university, teaching, learning, and research. There is also community engagement. I think as we focus to training, we should also look into areas of training, how to engage the communities and get local content, so that because we seem we shall be left out on that if we don't get a strategy of engaging the communities. I think we can include it in our training, that we look into how to engage or to take the libraries to the community. That's what I wanted to share.
Right, thank you very much. Indeed, that poses a challenge to us, and I hope that as the librarian fraternity, we will be able to respond to this challenge. Now, in the interests of time, I would like to take one last question from Mr. Abdallah Luja. Then we will proceed to the next part about the study opportunities, but we will have an opportunity to come back to this. So Abdallah Luja, your hand was up. Please unmute yourself and let us hear what you have to share with us. Hello, Abdallah, are you there?
Nobody can hear me.
Yes, we can, but if you could raise your voice a bit, you sound as though you're speaking from a tin.
Okay, please. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, ULIA team, for the wonderful presentation, the dissemination of the findings. Mine is just on the the short courses, yeah, because it was mentioned, we really need these short courses, postgraduate courses, the refresher trainings, because as we know, the world is changing and the change is so rapid. Now we have ChatGPT in place, all that is developing in technology. So we need these short courses, but the downside of that is that the least training schools in our country, Uganda, are still very few. And I don't know, as ULIA, how we can come up with something, or I don't know, because the least training schools are really few. If you look at, if I want to get a master's or a PhD in LIS in Uganda, or if you look at the training institutions, they are really, really limited. So I don't know what we can do about this, but thank you all in all for the training. That is it.
Thank you very much for your contribution, Abdallah. Yes, indeed, it is true that personally I've observed on many occasions and in a lot of literature that I won't be able to quote at this point, that the LIS training schools are very few. But you will also, if we'll go back to some of the observations that Sarah made, she said that even when we train in our LIS schools, most of the things that we have learned are probably obsolete within 3 to 5 years of learning. And that's where the element of self-learning comes. And also when it was mentioned that cataloging and classification are at the backbone of what we do, most of these emerging disciplines and emerging and adjacent careers that we are actually seeing are cataloging and classification in action, but in a different environment. Perhaps it's something that we have not yet made a relation to, but those are my observations simply as an individual. I am sure the audience might differ, or the audience might have a very different experience, but we can also not dismiss the element of self-education. And with that, I would then like to move us to the next part of the program. We will come back to the comments and observations about, we will come back to the comments and the observations about training needs that have been presented. But for now, I would like for us to just shift our attention slightly to,
Merci.
all right, who's seeing what? But I would like to shift our attention slightly to another aspect of CPD, which is further education or tertiary education, specialized education, whatever it is that you might call it, but which is education. Now, education comes in very many forms, and a number of us have been educated in Uganda, out of Uganda, and we are all products of a certain education system. I like to think that we turned out well. But because education comes in many forms, at times it might not be offered within our localities. At times we might be ambitious and we want to test new things. We have created networks, we see new things, and we need the capacity. We need to develop our individual capacity in order to respond to the needs of our communities and also contribute to national planning. So fortunately, some of this education can be sourced, and it will probably be sourced out of Uganda. So you will be enriching somebody's pockets, but thankfully for Uganda, you're going to come back to this with your skills and contribute to the development of your community as well as to the national conversation. So to speak to us more about study and sponsorship opportunities in countries that are not here, we have Jennifer Musisi. as well as Lydia Nanteza. So Jennifer Musisi is an advisor with Education USA, and Lydia Nanteza is the Assistant for Public Affairs with the American Center. And between the two of them, they are going to be able to expound more on what study in the US is. What is it all about? What are some of the opportunities that we can identify? What are some of the potential challenges? How can we equip ourselves for that? So I would like to pass the virtual mic to Lydia Nanteza and Jennifer Musisi. If they are present, you can now share your screen in the event that you have a publication, or we can go back to our default screen. So welcome, Lydia. Welcome, Jennifer.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. I'm Lydia Nanteza. So I don't have anything to share on screen. So I think, is this okay if I just talk like this?
This is very okay. Let me go back to our default screen. So this is okay.
Yeah, so I'm Lydia Nanteza and I work at the American Center. The American Center is a resource center under the US Embassy. So this is, it's a center, it's also a programming space where we do programs targeting youth, really youth of ages 19 to 25 years old, and working youth, entrepreneurs. And we do programs in 5 programming tracks. That's entrepreneurship, STEM programming, American culture, Education USA, that Jennifer will share more about that, and creative programs that target filmmakers, artists, really anyone, people in the film industry, in the creative industry. So it's a resource center and we invite the public, it's free to the public, and with membership, you can borrow items from the center. We do virtual and physical programs at the center. We have a programming calendar on the US Embassy website that has all the programs throughout the year. So each day of the month, there's a program going on at the center. We don't need appointments. You just come to the center with your ID and become a member to take out resources. So yeah, that's really about the American Center. So maybe I can invite Jennifer.
And I'm sure from the center, we can do some self-research on what to expect when we land in the US of A, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
So also at the center, we at the center to do the programming, we partner with external partners to do programs like the STEM codings and entrepreneurship mentorship sessions alongside Americans.
All
so
right.
Americans, Americans mentor along with Ugandan colleagues.
All right. Jennifer, Lydia,
Yes.
just before you mute yourself, out of curiosity, how many librarians do you see coming there?
We actually, this year, around February, we had a program targeting librarians. So we do have librarians coming in, but I don't know why not as many as we expect. So yeah, but we did have a program where we invited them and they really showed up in a good number.
All right.
And it was a very engaging program with the Library of Congress.
Yes, I think it was heavily advertised. So librarians and information workers, here is a call to participation. People keep saying we don't know where resource centers are, we don't know where civic engagement centers are, we don't know where libraries are, but personally on the street where I work, there are at least 5 libraries, though I receive only 1 librarian every 24 months. Okay, so Jennifer, are you here with us? Would you like to share your screen?
Yes, I'm here with you.
All right, would you like to share your screen or this is sufficient for you?
No, this is sufficient for me. So I don't have slides or anything.
That's
I'm really just going to talk about the services we have for people who are looking to study in the US. So we have a resource, we're part of the resource center, the American Center. Education USA is one of the core programs for for the American Center. And so, like Lydia said, you know, ours is a free resource. So if you're looking for updated, comprehensive information about study opportunities in the US, we have materials at the library, we have info sessions, we have one-on-one advising, we do all kinds of workshops, are all related to the process of applying to study in the US. And we are housed within the American Center. So when you come to the American Center, which is outside the embassy, there's a corner for Education USA that has resources and a person who sits there every day who can guide you with any information you have about studying in the US. We don't have a scholarship program, as is assumed by many people. What we do is guide you with resources or in the right direction on how to find funding to study in the US, but we don't have a scholarship program per se where we nominate people or take in individuals for funding to the US. So we have group sessions that happen once a week where you can come and it's kind of like a foundation crash course on what studying in the US is all about, what the requirements are. And so that is every week. If you want to find out how to engage in these group sessions, you can send us an email. I'm going to put our email address in the chat box. So for anyone who may want to connect with us after here, and then we can set up a time. I'll let you know the programs we have, and then you're able to engage with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, for that. I'm also going to ask a question out of curiosity, because I'm sure that when you are advising people, one of the things you look at is their previous area of study, as well as what they are currently doing and how this can be relevant. How many librarians have ever come for advice? Or you're not keeping count?
No, we do keep count of people who come in for advice. And I can say I have not interacted with any librarian who has come in for study in the US information.
Right, and yet here we are wanting further opportunities. All right,
Yes.
just as a question to Lydia now. Lydia, there was the meeting that the librarians had with the Library of Congress, but beyond that, do you offer any specifically designed programs for librarians or information workers actually?
Well, that is something we can plan around, although it's,
right.
you know, we offer, it's something we can plan around.
All right. So I'm sure someone from our committee will be in touch with you. Then we can always design something, because I think we all need each other's resources now that we have identified that there is a need. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open.
I don't think we mentioned where the center is located.
That's
it's
a
on
good
Gaba
idea.
Road. It's on Gaba Road on Embassy Plaza, level 5.
And what do we need to access it? Just an ID?
Yes, just your ID. And
All right. I also noticed that at times many information workers say that a challenge that they have in when they are maybe hosting events is space. Is there a possibility to have a space partnership with information workers that when they need to do an event, they can approach you for space, obviously with time given, sufficient time given?
Yeah.
All right. I'm sure we will explore all these opportunities. I am very glad that both you and Jennifer are here to be able to let us know, because if you had not been here, we would not know that you exist. So that perhaps points to our information searching habits. Dr. Baziraki, I see you have your hand up. What is your contribution to this?
Thank you very much. I wanted to thank the two ladies who have been up and the information they have brought to us. Well, you are asking them whether they are organizing programs for librarians. I would like to add to that, since they have that opportunity, are they able to invite some good trainers to mount a program maybe for a week, especially in these emerging technologies, because those people from there, like Library Congress, they are advanced. If they can attract, from time to time, attract some trainers who can come and train Ugandans, we would get that multiplier effect if one person or two come and train almost 100. That as we are talking of scholarships and the studies abroad, yes, we can study abroad, but if ULIA would look into the issue of attracting good trainers to come and train us, especially in the emerging technology, so that we get a lot in a short time. I think that would be a good approach. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Baziraki. Jennifer, thank you for the email address. Lydia, thank you for the email address. Dr. Baziraki, allow me to comment on that as an individual. It is one thing to provide the opportunities because perhaps we have access to better resources, but the uptake of it is a different thing altogether. And we have a number of examples that are testament to this. ULIA subscribes to many professional bodies or many umbrella bodies, for example, IFLA. I'm not sure about UNESCO, but I also know about AFLIA and also partnerships with the Goethe Institute worldwide. And for example, the Goethe Institute in Nairobi right now is carrying out a training program for librarians from East Africa. This information has been disseminated widely, and because they're my colleagues, obviously, I'm bound to ask if there are any Ugandan librarians that have participated in it. But ever since its inception 5 years ago, I think I'm the only one, and that's because I am within the Goethe Institute system. AFLIA is also providing training programs on things like emerging technologies. We have webinar series on open access, but the participation is quite low. So I do agree we need to seek out the opportunities, but I think it's also a challenge to us as members to motivate ourselves to actually explore these opportunities for what they are worth, because very many of us are beneficiaries of these opportunities. They were presented to us, we took them, and down a rabbit hole we went, and here we are in Uganda, just like you, but perhaps thinking differently. Are there any other observations or contributions to what Jennifer and Lydia have shared?
I just wanted to add something to what you were saying. I think those trainings which are organized outside, one thing they are pointed out is cost. You might find that there are costs involved. That's why many people don't attend.
That's true. That's true. But actually, these are free. The ones I've mentioned are free. Yeah. But anyway, as the education committee, we will continue.
Just one thing, and everything at the American Center is free. We don't ask anyone to pay for any to attend any event or use a service. Yeah.
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Our libraries might not be equipped with what you need, might not have the resources, human and technical, that you need, but the Kampala American Center is here, Embassy House, Gaba Road. You don't need an appointment. I assume they work Monday to Friday, and you can always go in with your ID, and we have our colleagues here, Jennifer and Lydia, and it would be good to connect with them in person. Dr. Baziraki, please unmute yourself.
Yes, Alice. I don't know whether you have the planning with you nearby. You can flash it and we look at it before we finish.
Yes, I do have it. You can speak as I get it for you, please.
Okay. Are we about to end?
Almost. We will go back to the needs survey results. We'll have a mishmash, an assortment of the questions, and then we will be able to proceed. We should be out of here by the top of the hour. So I'm going to share with you on the screen the ULIA Education Research and Training Committee work plan. And Dr. Baziraki, you will show me where exactly you need me to concentrate or the mouse on. So here we are. Please show me where you need me to scroll to.
You expand it. I wanted to look at I wanted to get the timeline involved here and see
All right.
where we are now.
All right, let me download it so that we can be expanding it. So allow us to segue a bit into the work plan, ladies and gentlemen. It's an internal document, but since we are implementing it with you, this is what it looks like. And here we are. Where exactly would you like me to concentrate?
The time frame, I had already seen the flash. Beginning is May.
Yeah.
To me, it has disappeared. I don't see it.
Oh, let me see if I can share again. Okay. Please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yeah, now I can see it.
Great.
Now I can see beginning is carry out engagement with this education and students, educators and students. And these activities for May. Okay.
All right.
Then June, July. The rest, this year we have 2 activities.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Though this has been done, and I think this was an internal discussion, and I think there'll be other opportunities for the education committee to interact. At least for starters, we have disseminated the results. We asked for participation, and we have disseminated the results. And we have also seen the feedback. We've also explored some of the opportunities. And now I would like, once again, if there are questions that were not covered in the first Q&A session, I would like to invite us to share them. I see some in the chat area. Okay, thank you very much, Lydia, for that information. And now we are in the general Q&A, which we will dedicate a very short time to, and then we can proceed to the closing remarks by the president of ULIA. And this is the general session for both the study opportunities, the study and sponsorship opportunities, as well as feedback from the education needs assessment survey. Any takers for the question? Sorry, any askers, if that's a word? Okay. Sarah, are you still there? Sarah and Agnes, are you still there? All right. Yes, Abdallah, I think we got Sarah and Agnes, are you still there? Oh, Patrick, your hand is up.
Yes.
Okay. I'll get to you after Patrick.
Yeah, thanks so much, Alice, for sharing. Am I requesting that if always, just requesting Sarah and Jennifer, always if they can share those links, then we can be pushing also to link to our website for our professionals to reach out to them.
Okay. All right.
Alice.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I have not heard what Patrick has said.
Oh, he was
I've not
requesting.
heard his request.
Patrick was requesting Jennifer and Lydia to be able to share the link so we can put them on our website, you know, in the contacts or further opportunities sector in our directory, so people can also access it from our website.
Okay.
All right. I see 2 hands up. There was a beg, sorry. There was Abong Kenneth. My apologies. Abong, please share with us what it is you'd like to share. Abong, if you're not able to, then Olaun Samuel, Matthew, please share with us.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. Yes, but I'm just having a kind of a request for you people in that center. It's like me, I'm lecturing in some institution in the eastern part of Uganda. So I would request if they can get for me a contact or maybe a link such that they can get in touch with them and we can make a program for me to visit the embassy.
To visit the center?
Yes, the center. Because Kampala is large and I don't know that location very well. At least a Google map.
Maybe they can drop a pin since we are in the world of technology, but they've also mentioned that you don't need an appointment. But I'm sure if you came to the city center and asked for a border, they know where the American embassy is. That's a little mecca for all of us, but that's valid. They've shared their email contacts. If you get in touch with both Lydia and Jennifer, they'll be able to give you the directions that you require, but they are gracious enough to not require an appointment. All right, there was another hand that was up that I don't know who spoke. Was it Abong or was it Olaun Samuel? So Abong, your hand is still up. You could share with us and then we move into the wrap up of this session.
Thank you so much, the team that presented. Though starting with a presentation of the first presenter, that is Sarah. I think my suggestion is that we have talked about the transitioning to, I think most of the analytics came around that digital trend. And basically, yes, the training, and I think after there would be way forward for us, the ULIA team. And most cases, as libraries, we talk about systems. And I think that's where even cataloging and classification falls in. So my suggestion is that when you talk about these systems and things changing so that we make things practical, we have IT people in the team that can help us. Most cases, most libraries tend to gear towards open softwares. It's my humble request to the team that is here that if they are available, not only to train us on the interfaces, but where the trainings, they can also bring that practical aspect of installations. I think that would be so substantial. And another thing, my question now to Jennifer and Lydia, they talked about the age bracket for the training in the youth, the training of the youth that is at the embassy. I want to understand, because many could be interested in the training, whether some of the trainings that they have talked about were limited to that age bracket of 25, or then the ones who are above could just go and access the resources. Partially, that is my question. Thanks so much.
Lydia, Jennifer, there's a question for you.
Yeah, so thank you for the question. So generally, the center is that's the general group for programming, but then it doesn't stop us from programming for other age groups. Yeah, that is still something we can work on with partners.
So from what I get, Lydia,
yes,
you have you have the capacity to help, but this will also depend on partnerships and concepts that are developed to you, because as you are there, you cannot sit and conceptualize for us. But if we come together and have a conversation, we are able to conceptualize something and see if we can execute it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also, I also take it that for clarification, in Jennifer's case, it is only a liaison office. It is not the office where the be all and end all happens. It is an advisory office.
Yes.
All right.
Center. Yes. Yeah.
All right. We need to correct misconceptions.
And we also don't help with visas. That's the other misconception that we get a lot. We get many visa questions, which we don't work on.
But you can advise on how people can go about it. Okay, not the general ones, obviously, the ones related to education, because certain visa types are related with the kind of activity you project to do in that country.
Yes, so Jennifer would advise in that line.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're welcome.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, do we have any questions yet? All right. If we are not able to have them here because of limited time, Drake, please be kind enough to share our social media handles. We can take that conversation up. Drake has also shared the link to the Telegram group for the LIS forum, as well as the WhatsApp group, because these conversations, they never end. Every day an opportunity comes up, and every day we respond accordingly. Before we go to the closing remarks by the chairman of ULIA, I would like to request, like I mentioned, we are actually recording this session and we will disseminate it within 48 hours via a link through the ULIA Telegram group. And I would like to request for a picture, a group picture, and then we can proceed with the farewell remarks. If you'd like, now is the time to for us to see your likeness, but it is not a must that your video must be on. But let us have a look, please.
There we have come.
Hey, so this is what people look like.
Where are you? I don't see you.
I'm shy.
Don't hide.
All right, let me see. My video is on. I have blurred my background. So that's a true likeness of me. And I'm going to take a picture of the first participants. And just like that, it is done. We move on to the next group. That is the participant 1. And then we move on to the next group because, it's a lot of us that are here. And in this instance, just like that, we are done. And then we'll move on to the next group. And this will also be disseminated so you don't find your name floating somewhere and being masqueraded as a ghost participant. All right, here we go. And just like that, we are done. So at this point, I would like to then welcome a professional colleague, but many of us also know him as the chairman of the president, chairman. Okay, so many terms that are synonymous. There's something here on my screen that won't go away. Just give me a minute, please. Okay, but very many of us are also familiar with him, knowing him as the president of ULIA. I would like to welcome Dr. Francis Ekwaro. I know this is not the time to say so, but I've worked with him and had a number of conversations with Dr. Kwaro on a number of occasions. And I think he's the first information worker that gave me an opportunity to speak to my professional colleagues in a professional setting. So I will always be thankful for that. This is now a product of it. So Dr. Kwaro, if you're there, please, the virtual mic is yours.
That they talked to him.
All right, let us see. There could be problems with connectivity. I'm not so sure. All right. So, okay, in the interest of time, we'll just have to move on. This was the wrong number. So I would like to invite our committee secretary, Bosco Buruga. Are you there? Bosco, please share some remarks and then Dr. Baziraki can close this out for us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members. I thank you. I see a hand raised by Dr. Baziraki.
Hello, Alice.
Yes, doctor.
I wanted to find out if
Yep.
the president is not there. Isn't there an immediate member of his group who can represent him?
He's back. He's back. He's back. He's online. I think there were some technical difficulties. All right.
Okay.
But just before he comes in, Bosco, you needed to share something with us. Oh no, here he is. Dr. Kwaro, please. The virtual mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Alice, and all the participants who have attended the workshop. Once again, I would officially like to thank the committee that is in charge of education, research, and training at ULIA for this wonderful work so far. I would love to say that and
Hello?
I believe
All right.
President, you can
Alice,
continue.
you
Hello,
can get
President.
me?
No.
Yes, please.
On and
Hello,
off. Now we got you. Now you can speak again.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank the Education, Research, and Training Committee for the work well done. When we took office as a new executive of ULIA, we encouraged members to participate in the affairs of association. And we really want to thank the Education Committee because they have shown us by example that fellow professionals can build association. And this presentation, particularly the findings of the CPD survey, the findings are an eye-opener to all of us. I believe that the different training partners of LIS education programs, particularly the universities, we have also some training firms, and also ULIA can now organize continuous professional development trainings that are based on evidence. Our partners to join ULIA, particularly in efforts to organize CPDUs for our members. We encourage partnerships. As you're aware, the association has meager resources, but we welcome least training schools to partner with the ULIA to deliver these trainings. We also welcome other partners who can provide funding for these trainings. But I want to assure our members that as ULIA, since we have the results, we are now going to come up with the training programs. Of course, the education committee will be spearheading these training programs. I would also love to thank the American Center. The American Center has been supporting the lease sector for a very long period of time here in Uganda. I remember benefiting from some of their services when I was still a student at the East African School of Library and Information Science. That time they sponsored a dinner, and I was among the few people who were sponsored by the American Information Center by then to attend the dinner. So we would love to have this partnership continued. As ULIA, we are organizing a number of events. We have the ULIA dinner upcoming. And therefore, we would also want to encourage the American Center to get involved or participate in one way or the other. As the saying goes, CPD is a personal initiative, whereas the association can wish or would wish to push everyone to study, to learn, but it starts with each of us. Therefore, we encourage members to look for these opportunities, both on offered on physical platform, others are offered online. And some are paid for, some are free. We encourage all our members to not take up these opportunities whenever they come up. It is the only way we shall be able to develop our profession. I want to say that I'm so happy that these findings have come when I will be representing the association in one of the local organizations here in Uganda, where we have been invited to actually defend whether the association exists or it doesn't exist. So you can imagine that some people still don't know that ULIA exists when we are moving forward. So I encourage all of you to spread the gospel that ULIA is alive and that we are going to achieve a lot more together. Finally, I want to thank the moderators, my fellow executives, and I would want to sign out by saying that we are going to have other trainings every month. So I believe that in May again, we shall have a similar engagement organized by ULIA. With these few remarks, may the Almighty God bless all of you. Thank you so much. Back to the Secretariat.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you for sparing your time. And indeed, your presence with us in this meeting is motivation to know that we are taking the same steps as leadership does, and indeed that the leadership approves of the steps that we have taken as a committee. Bosco, as secretary of the committee, are there any final remarks you have before we close this out?
Thank you, Alice. I think mine is to thank the members for the big turn up. We we reached at a peak of about 57 members. We joined this meeting.
60.
And this is a good number. We, as the president said, we are going to develop the CPD program that is going to be shared. I want to appeal to members that when you see the call, please participate in big numbers. We are very many, but you see from the survey, only 111 participated. There are many other people out there. Please let us know where the challenge is. If it is a challenge of accessing information online, we will find a way out, because we want these CPDs to benefit everyone. If you have a challenge with the online one, maybe we can go ahead and start developing a physical meetings, and that's where we can meet some of you having technological challenges. So I thank you all. I want to thank specifically our team that has been working in the background. I want to thank the admin of ULIA, Kyria, for doing good job, together with the publicity secretary, Bonnie, Lobo, for the mobilization of members for this training. And also I thank my team, the committee, for delivering today's program successfully. Let's convene again for the next one that will follow. I thank you all as we leave this place, the online meeting. We will be sharing the recordings, as I said, through the ULIA Telegraph group. If you have not yet joined, please, the link was shared. Join it so that you're able to receive the recordings. I know some of you joined the meeting in the middle. I think that is all that I have for now. Bye-bye. I thank you. I thank you, Alice, so much for leading this session very well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Bosco. To the members that are here, as the Germans say, wir bedanken uns. And this is a call also for you to renew your individual and institutional subscriptions to ULIA. Our treasurer, Drake Tamale, will share those details. And to the rest, let us get ready for the ULIA dinner. And Bonnie has also shared our social media links and channels. So let us continue this conversation from there. Thank you all. May God bless you. May Allah bless you and reward you abundantly. A recording of this will be shared via a link through our Telegram channel. But on behalf of the ULIA Education, Research and Training Committee, this is your moderator, Alice Chibombo, signing out, and see you soon.